Voice of the Sea, learning from experts across the ocean.
Welcome to Voice of the Sea. This season on Voice of the Sea, we're in Guam, Palau, and Hawaii, meeting the people who are the voice of the sea. In this special episode of Voice of the Sea, we preview some of the stories we'll tell. We'll meet researchers and business owners, scientists and fishermen, even the president of Palau, all struggling to cope with rising sea levels, diminishing food supplies, and a changing ocean.
In this episode, we take a look at what's coming up this year on Voice of the Sea.
First, we journey to the world-famous Jellyfish Lake of Palau. This amazing natural wonder holds many mysteries to science and is a tourist attraction, drawing people from around the world.
So as sea level rose after the last glaciation, as the glaciers melted, water intruded, the sea rose, water intruded back into the lakes, and it was salt water because it comes from the lagoon and the surrounding ocean. And so the lakes are salt water. They are connected by a series of underground crevices with the lagoon and ocean. So they actually go up and down with the tide, but not as much. And over the years, as they formed and even in recent times, organisms got into the lakes somehow, either as larval forms coming in through the cracks with the salt water, other ways they could have gotten in there. So each of these 50 lakes is actually a little experiment in evolution.
So what is so special about the Jellyfish Lake then?
It's totally different habitat. There's so much that it's, for a small space like that, it holds so much, it has so much biodiversity compared to the outside.
And when you talked about how acidic it is down there and how the pH changes, would it actually be dangerous for a person to swim down to the bottom?
Yeah, actually people who've gone there, they got rushed from the pH. So I think the last people who did that were the US Navy. And then they had this I don't know, aluminum and metal suit that they had, and then they dove down to the bottom.
In this episode, we explore how a changing ocean is impacting the island nation of Palau. We'll meet local fishermen, scientists, community leaders, and the president.
When I declared Palau is the world's first shark sanctuary, I was trying to protect the oceans. It became a call on the nations of the world to come together and try to protect the health of the oceans or restore the health of the oceans. So it was an environmental message, but it became the best promotion for our tourism. So it's a win-win situation. As one observer said, a live shark is worth maybe 10 times more than a dead one.
I don't know about Hawaii, but in the States, they have no clue of what climate change is all about. Out in the islands, you really can see the changes that are taking place.
Tell me about some of those observations that you made.
Right now, I live in this village. My house is right next over there. And normally, it would be like 3 feet. The floor will be 3 feet above the sea level. Right now, it's less than a foot. It's like 6 inches at the highest tide. My floor would be 6 inches away from the sea level, the water level. So it's a lot of things have changed. And not only that, the farmers are complaining that their taro patches have been inundated by salt water. I'm also an avid fisherman. I go out, you know, 2-3 times a week just to fish. And a lot of things have changed. The size of the cats has been smaller. The number of the cats, the number of hours we spend out there is longer. We go further. And this is a matter of 15, 20 years change.
We see for me, as growing up here in the islands, we see the number of fish is reduced. There's so many boats out there for commercial fishing, and eventually maybe we can eliminate the commercial fishing and focus on the sport fishing.
In this episode, we explore how Palau's endangered animals are faring amidst a changing ecosystem and local pressures.
We're a bird SWAT team. If somebody calls up on the phone and say, I saw a blue something or other, and we go, okay, we jump in the truck and we go out and try to find it. We count them at low tide because that's when their food cafeteria is open, okay? Let's see if we can find some birds. If there's no food here, no crabs, no fish, no life, the birds won't come. They'll go somewhere else.
So the measurement of the birds gives you an idea of the other wildlife, the other organisms.
Exactly. It's an index of the total biodiversity out there.
I understand that you're doing a campaign for helping to protect Palau's dugongs. Can you tell me a little bit about the animal itself?
It sort of looks like a manatee, but it's more a saltwater animal. It doesn't stay around the rivers like the manatees. The tail is like a whale instead of round like a manatee, and they're more smooth and more fast in the water. There's definitely less than 500 animals. Between 200 and 300 is the estimate, but you can't tag them. They get stressed out really easily, so you might actually do more damage than good if you try that. So our best way to protect them is to stop the local poaching and preserve their habitats, the seagrass beds.
Next, we're in Guam and Palau looking at poisonous marine organisms and their connection to cancer research.
The Curriculum Research and Development Group in the College of Education at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. CRDG's training roots go back over 40 years. Through professional development programs, curriculum workshops, research on teaching methodology, individualized school and district training, and so much more. The Curriculum Research and Development Group, improving schools, improving education. CRDG.
Welcome back to Voice of the Sea. We're previewing our upcoming episodes.
My work revolves around the pharmaceutical application of cone snail venoms. It just so happened that in the 70s, they started trying to figure out why certain cone snails, if collected, would sting a human and be able to kill that human. And in fact, one of those cone snails, Conus geographus, exists on Guam, and there is one documented case where a military person collected Conus geographus and put it in their wetsuit and actually died 4 hours later from the sting. So that cone snail is actually still in the Naval Hospital in a jar of
That
ethanol.
individual.
That exact cone snail is still sitting there.
It's generally estimated that only about 1 in 10,000 samples will ever be usable as a drug, and it may actually never even be developed as a drug. It may not be better than what's already available. So, we have to collect, the idea is to collect as broad a spectrum as possible, hoping that you just find that one that is the magic bullet. We haven't found it yet, but maybe out there somewhere.
Next, we meet up with some heroes of Pacific Island culture, navigator Cesario Selawar and traditional voyaging canoe builder and sailor Tim Gilliam.
Cesario, it's such an honor to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
heard so much about you and your family, your father Mao. There was a point in time not too long ago when the tradition and the knowledge of navigation was shrinking and people were not passing it on. And your father was very instrumental, Mao, in coming to Hawaii and teaching the people of the Hokulea how to navigate and resurrecting that knowledge. And now here you are at the Palau Community College teaching the people of Micronesia and those same skills. You must feel very proud about that.
Yeah, I'm very proud because that's my father's dream, that he wants to bring everybody together as one family of navigation.
What do you do, say, if you're out in the canoe and it's been stormy for many days and you haven't been able to see the stars? How do you continue to navigate?
It's not only the stars that we navigate, it's also we navigate by the ocean swells. As I learned navigation, the ocean swells are coming from each direction, depends on the wind direction. For example, if it's easterly wind, then the easterly wind swell should be bigger than the rest of the swell. So it's just a matter of staying awake and keep tracking of what you do during navigation, but just to make sure that you know your east, your north, your south, and your west, so you don't get lost.
What would happen if you were at sea and you got a hole?
It would just feel just this compartment, and you'd have to just deal with this compartment instead of the whole hull.
When the canoe's going, where would the crew hang out?
Probably mostly up on the deck, and the guys who are off watch sleeping. But the majority of the time, you know, you're cooking up there. There's people up there doing the cooking, and then everyone hangs in the back usually. Papa Mao, he could smell the island. I think the coconuts or the coconut trees. Yeah, you would have to have done that a whole lifetime to be able to be in that caliper.
Next, Vanessa dives the world-famous reefs of Palau, considered to be one of the best scuba destinations in the world, and meets underwater expert videographer Nick Martiramo.
Exploring Our Fluid Earth is the dynamic curriculum developed by the University of Hawaii's Curriculum Research and Development Group. The award-winning Fluid Earth and Living Ocean textbooks are now interactive and online. New activities, updated content, and a teacher community. Exploring Our Fluid Earth is now freely available. Find out more at exploringourfluidearth.org. Welcome back to Voice of the Sea. You're a professional underwater videographer.
For the past 15 years, I've been shooting as an underwater videographer in several parts of the world. Right now, I'm here in Palau. One of my favorite things that I like to film is kind of small stuff, all the macro critters, you know, blennies, gobies, nudibranchs, and there's a whole kind of neighborhood of goofy characters.
So this is the primary cameras that you shoot on a daily basis?
This is the Big Mama, yeah, that's the daily, this camera has about 3,000 dives on it.
Wow.
So it works flawlessly.
Do you have any advice for young students who maybe see you in your career choice and want to pursue the same type of avenue?
I would say the most important thing is if you are passionate about the ocean, if you love the ocean, you really have to be crazy about the ocean and marine life. Because the obstacles that are going to be placed in front of you there'll be a lot of them, let me put it this way. But if you have the drive, if you have the determination, the persistence, and it's really all back to, you know, if you love the ocean, you will be able to succeed. You may have to change some of the ways you're thinking about priorities. Things will not land in your lap right away. You have to work hard. But for me, there's just nothing like being out there in the big blue, filming marine life, whatever it is, from the a large shark to a manta ray to an itty bitty little nudibranch. Knowing that in some way I am making a difference by educating viewers and people at large about the ocean and the marine critters that are down there.
And so do you work then with some of the scientific researchers or the conservation folks to share with them the knowledge that you gain through your video camera?
Yes, it's happened before that research organizations will contact me and I can show them what I have, whether it's footage of mantas or sharks or spawning aggregations of groupers or bumpet parrotfish. And the nice thing about doing this on a daily basis is that I actually have a tally that will tell you exactly when a certain shot was taken, what year, what time, and so you can really help scientists in coming up with, again, for example, like a longitudinal study or whatever it is that they're looking into. Or sometimes they, actually ask me to go out with them, with a team of researchers, and dive with them and film whatever they're interested in capturing on video during that day or that week or that month.
Next, Kanisa meets Hawaii's surf forecaster, Pat Caldwell. Pat has been predicting ocean conditions in Hawaii for over 25 years.
I've read your surf forecasts for years and I'm a big fan.
My job is with the National Oceanographic Data Center. My background is meteorology. I'm now officially a surf forecaster with the Honolulu National Weather Service. So once a wave is generated and starts to travel, it's going to follow the what's called the Great Circle Route, and that's just the shortest distance between 2 points on a sphere. So if you had a string, here it's the Hawaiian Islands, here's Japan, and the Great Circle Route would be that closest line between 2 points on the sphere. So say, for instance, we're trying to forecast for the Pipeline Pro. So we look at the weather charts and try to find winds that are aimed along the Great Circle Route, parallel to that Great Circle Route relative to Hawaii. And so sitting there at Pipeline on the beach, if you look out to your far left along the seashore, you'll see exactly kind of point way off to your left. And you know nothing's going to be coming from beyond that, because south of that the land would block it.
In this episode, we're at Coconut Island on Oahu to check out the latest in shark research. We'll be talking about tuna, scalloped hammerhead, and tiger sharks.
So this is one of our outdoor holding facilities where we're able to keep a variety of coastal sharks. In this particular pen at the moment we have sandbar sharks, and we also have some scalloped hammerheads. So what I'm hoping to do is take this very large tag and put it inside this fish and completely conceal it, so we can then go ahead and feed it to one of our sharks. So I literally just take it, push it down inside the fish. Okay, that's inside the fish's body. Okay, so we have an adult sandbar shark in here that we're going to try and feed the tag to. In this bin here I have some tunas and some bloody water. I'm going to put some of the juice into the water to hopefully get the sharks interested. We can see the little hammerheads have smelt the blood, and hopefully the larger sharks will also pick up the scent and come on over. So we just saw the big sandbar. I'm going to go ahead and lower the mackerel down.
Can you talk to me a little bit about what you're doing?
Yeah, actually these were some behavior trials that were meant to mimic what we were doing in the field. This project is a shark bycatch mitigation project, and so we're looking at different strategies to reduce the incident of the unwanted take of sharks in longline fisheries. And so because sharks have these sensitive electrosensory systems that teleost sharks don't, or teleost fishes don't have, which are the targeted fish in longline fisheries, we thought that if you used something that would maybe overwhelm their electrosensory apparatus, it would selectively deter sharks from these longline baits.
So what is it that you've added to the longline configuration that you think might deter the sharks?
So what we have about here on these lines is electropositive metals. They're from the lanthanide series of the periodic table of the elements. The sharks are kind of excited right now, so let's feed this out kind of quickly and see which bait they go after.
So you have
this is the electropositive metal, so this bait will be further out.
And this is the one with the lead?
That's right.
Okay. Ready?
Ready. So sometimes it takes them a couple minutes to get attracted to the feeding stimulus. Here we go. Did you see that?
Oh, I did. There he goes, there he goes.
Oh, and he got it. That was off the control.
I saw it come straight in and then head away.
Yeah, a lot of times when they get, when they pass by the electric field that the metals produce, it's kind of a odd shape, and so they get really bugged out by it.
I saw the hammerhead almost look like he was trying to bite it, and then he swam away.
Yeah.
In this episode, we're talking about fish sex, specifically spawning aggregations.
Some of your more famous research is on spawning aggregations of fishes. You're pretty well known in that field.
Yeah, I'm actually an ichthyologist by training.
And an ichthyologist is a person that studies fish.
Fish, yeah. So they go through this little act where they release the eggs. This is the actual eggs you see here. That's the female. She releases eggs, he releases sperm. She dives away, goes back to the reef, and is gone for the day. The eggs are fertilized. There's probably 100,000 eggs in that tiny little cloud there. Those drift away, and then there'll be another female. 60 seconds later, he'll spawn with her. So he'll spawn with a whole series of females in quick succession.
And he's doing that every day?
Every day. And then he leaves. So they have a period of about an hour or less every day that they spawn. It's about 2 hours after high tide, where we know about it, and most days they're out there. Unfortunately, this is a very popular fish in what's called the live reef fish trade, where fishes are captured alive by usually, sometimes local or Chinese fishermen. They're held in pens alive, and then they're shipped to places like Hong Kong alive in vessels, and then they're sold. They have aquariums on the street. You can buy this fish. It costs an exorbitant amount of money. A humphead wrasse might be worth $100 a kilo or more in Hong Kong. So a 100-kilo fish, $10,000 or more, and probably more because that's a particularly big one. So that in many areas, the humphead wrasse has been highly impacted by the live reef fish trade. Some females, not all, but some females transition to males. There are some females that remain females their entire life. And the why sex change occurs is not totally understood. It could be many social factors, but it's sort of like, well, the number of males needed develops and no more. Because males are useless, beyond helping reproduce. You only need so many males. Females are much better.
Thanks for watching Voice of the Sea.
Turn your love of the ocean into a lifelong career. Join NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, as we unlock the secrets in the deep oceans, track rapidly moving storms, model climate trends, protect and preserve our marine resources, and so much more. It's all in a day's work at NOAA. Find a career that makes a world of difference, enriching life through science, service, and stewardship. NOAA. The University of Hawaii's Sea Grant College program, focused on Hawaii's coasts and its communities through sustainable development, safe seafood supply, sustainable coastal tourism, hazard resilience, and healthy coastal ecosystems. Hawaii's Sea Grant.